All right, we're just checking out the storms into parts of South Dakota here this evening. Um, we got this one just right over Faith currently, just running through that area through Ziebach County and Meade and Perkins as well. Main thing is 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. And those are moving to the east at about 35 miles per hour. So we're looking at red scaffold here in about 5 minutes and iron lightning in about 10 minutes from now. Other locations include Thunder Butte, intersection of Cherry Creek and Sunnybrook roads, and intersection of 63 and BIA Road 8 in South Eagle Butte. So max hail size 1 inch and 60 mile per hour winds associated with this storm right now. Yeah, hail size, I mean, it's not, right now at least, I mean, it's getting out there a little bit from the radar, but probably more so the winds are probably associated with that, a little more of that 60 mile per hour wind gusts. I would guess is going to be the main threat with that. It's kind of hard to tell on that, either one of those. But I would suspect, maybe some smaller hail and then 60 mile per hour wind gusts. Rolling to the north and east, or more east, I guess, than anything. And there you can see probably just running south of Dupree by about, let's see, 8:25 Mountain Time. Not super fast storms. This little guy out here says 50 to 60 mile per hour winds, 9 east of Opal, and pea-size hail. And then further north, let's see, 59 mile per hour wind gusts in Perkins County, southeast of 7 miles southeast of Meadow. So a couple reports out there currently, and then we've also got this one just north of Valentine, just north of the South Dakota border. And that one's saying 60 mile per hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail as well. And so we are moving east only at 25 miles per hour, so not a real fast one. Locations include Lakeville, Mission, and Antelope. And then we've had a couple reports out there, 55 miles per hour in Todd County, just south of Parmalee, and then a 72 in Todd County as well, and this was 6 west of Parmalee. So 2 different reports, a little bit different in speed there, 72 and 55. That makes a bit of a difference. And yeah, there's 264. That's way out there. I'm just checking around on the winds and seeing how they're looking, but I guess they've had some 60 mile per hour gusts with it earlier. And it did look a little more potent, I guess, as these 2 reports kind of developed. Probably doesn't look quite as bad as it was earlier. Yeah, there was definitely some stronger winds in there. Maybe not quite as much, but still a little bit gusty out there. Probably coming up to Mission, the way it's looking. I would say probably right in through here is probably your strongest area for some stronger winds. That would maybe cause a brief gust over 60 miles per hour. So we've got those 2 areas right now. And then when overall we've got that severe thunderstorm watch out for another hour. So 10 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. And talking maybe, again, 75 mile per hour wind gusts, hail up to an inch and a half. So that's about ping pong sized hail. And some of those storms are kind of outrunning those watches, but there's nothing severe in there. But obviously the stuff to the south, just west of Winter, I should say. And then also this area by Faith. So coming up, this one is coming up on Dupree and Isabel here over the next half hour to 45 minutes. And this one down here is kind of coming up to Mission in about the next 9 minutes, and Antelope in the next 12. You can see where the Storms Prediction Center has the slight risk sort of just poking out a little bit further to the east. I think these storms down here will continue to move to the east-northeast, and every once in a while you might have a severe report out of it as it continues to move to the east, where it probably will flare up and give you some stronger winds, maybe some hail. And then this little area is kind of expected to move east-northeast into southeastern parts of North Dakota through the night. So sort of the two main areas to watch out for, as I guess two different things sort of helping to drive it in a way. This one has a little bit better moisture to work with, a little more low-level stuff, more higher dew points. So just better instability to the south, whereas this one's going to be kind of locked in on, I guess, more of the upper-level feature that's going to be carrying it to the east. Let me know how loud, if you can hear the fan. If it's annoyingly loud, let me know, because I gotta have a fan in here. It's been so warm. Also trying something on Facebook, so we're going to see how that works. I'll try to keep up on there as well. So that's a little interesting, I guess. I'm just trying different things right now. That's the other thing I guess I'm going for. Trying to update my computer system, and it's working a lot better. I'm able to do so much more with this thing that it's nice. Now I'm able to also go across Facebook, because not a lot of people seems like, or not as many people go to YouTube. But YouTube's just a little slicker if you are on there. You might be able to focus in on some of these storms. You can see them popping up. That's our stronger cell to the north. You can see the bubbliness, the storms just kind of percolating down in the south, just north of Valentine. And we'll switch over to the cloud tops. And basically what this is showing is the darker color, the darker red, is the colder the tops. So that means those storms are just really shooting above 50,000 feet more than likely. And they're continuing on strong. As I look at this one to the north, you kind of notice it doesn't, you have some of that real darker shade of red there, and then it kind of fades off a little bit. So that one's having a little tougher time right now just by looking at the cloud tops. So that's where the satellite helps us. We could take a look at that and go, okay, it's not quite as strong as in particular this one further to the south. Looks like the tops are just a little more vigorous, a little bit better. Probably, like I said earlier, have a little bit more juice to work with. And eventually, these areas of this rain here is going to be moving eastward. So, everybody along the Missouri eventually is going to be getting some rain, but it is expected that the severe weather will sort of remain, I guess, mostly to the south of Bismarck. You know, generally we're generally speaking, we're seeing south of this line. I guess if you want to pretty much go with what the Storms Prediction Center is saying, but I guess I would think that this, like I said before, this area is just going to kind of carry off to the east and a little bit north as well. So generally, I mean, if I'm thinking that you know, there might be an isolated severe threat through here throughout the night, and everybody north of that, we're just looking at general thunderstorms, nothing too much to be concerned about. Here you can see our wind reports from earlier, 59 mile per hour, 60 mile per hour. Oh, we've got another one down here. Wow, a 68 mile per hour one. So that one picked up a little bit now here. Let's go back to the main radar. Hasn't popped up. 7 east southeast of Rosebud in Todd County, a 68 mile per hour wind gust about 10 minutes ago. East southeast. So, well, would kind of make sense, I guess. We were watching this little area move to the north and east, and that's where I said that's heading towards Mission and Whitehorse. So that's kind of the main area, I guess, that I'd be watching as far as the possibility of any severe type of wind gusts right now, where we're talking over 60 mile per hour. Looks like 68 to maybe even 70 miles per hour in there. And then looks like the hail's kind of picked up again. Yep, there's our little marker. There's our storm report of 68. And then hail of over an inch. And now they've they issued a new severe thunderstorm warning for eastern Todd County, southwestern Tripp County, and southeastern Millette County in south central South Dakota until 10 p.m. Central Time. Wow, so that's going out a good hour, or almost. Below at 9:05 Central Time or 8:05 Mountain Time, the severe thunderstorm located 3 miles south of Antelope, 4 miles southeast of Mission, moving northeast at 35. Hazards are 70 mile per hour wind gusts and nickel-size hail. Expect considerable tree damage. Damage is likely to mobile homes, roofs, and outbuildings. They'll be near Haystack Butte around 9:15, Hidden Timber around 9:20. Other locations include Oak Creek, Carter, Mosher, and Witten. They do mention just the outside possibility of a tornado on that. The damage threat's considered to be considerable, as it's just right at that 70 mile per hour wind gust. So just something we need to, I guess, watch right now as it's heading into Mission and Whitehorse. That's my main area of focus, I guess, right now when I'm looking at the stronger winds. They do mention the possibility, I guess, just to mention that briefly, of just, you know, there's an outside chance of a tornado. A little bit of rotation in there. Nothing too much at this point, but I could see where they are maybe a little concerned of it as you kind of have this area kind of in through here. So And then maybe another one even over here. So just a couple of spots that they might be watching, but otherwise we're just looking at 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts right now. Running through Whitehorse more than likely, heading up to Oak Creek, maybe Hidden Timber in Carter eventually. So I guess we are watching sort of this area move. That's my main area. I mean, there is a bit of a gust front further to the south, but I guess if I'm going to pinpoint anything, it's going to be this specific area, and that's kind of moving to the east-northeast. And there you can see about 15 minutes in between Mission and Oak Creek. Oak Creek in about a half hour, Carter 45 minutes, New Mitten in about an hour. Also have a new one further to the north. The way it looks a few minutes ago for Ziebach County with 60 mile per hour wind gusts and nickel size hail. So we're still just the main threat is the 60 mile per hour winds, and the hail is just below warning criteria, so mostly just, but still the possibility of hail is there. Locations include Thunder Butte, intersection of Cherry Creek and Sunnybrook Roads, intersection of Highway 63 and BIA Road 8, and South Eagle Butte. So we continue to watch this area further to the north for some stronger winds. Really pick out the gust front on that one. It's interesting. Well, this one more is maybe this whole, really hard to pick out exactly where. I guess maybe right in through there would be about the best shot as it's moving to the north and east. Would probably be about the strongest winds, but generally speaking, there's this kind of a whole line basically where you're more likely going to be seeing a bit of a shelf cloud move through. So those are our areas right now, and we're going to continue to watch this as it moves to the east, a little bit north of east. Throughout the nighttime hours, as well as this one, but everybody else right now will probably be in the clear. It's I really think it's mainly these two areas. I think this northern one eventually is going to give up the ghost. Is probably what's going on anyway. We showed you earlier the satellite here, and how the tops just doesn't look quite as vigorous as before. So it's I think what's going on is We've got that northern storm is kind of on its last gasp. And so we're probably getting some winds coming out of there. Meanwhile, this area further to the south will probably hang on just a little bit longer. And we'll have to eventually switch radars. So if anybody's got any questions out there as far as the weekend goes, please don't hesitate to ask. Let me know where you're at. Let me know where you're watching from. I'll try to get your questions answered. I had a bit of an update. I put out an update on YouTube earlier tonight, so if you want to go ahead and check that out, just to let you know where the storms are expected over the remainder of the weekend. And man, it's looking like Monday. Monday's the big day, I think, especially across eastern South Dakota and western parts of Minnesota. Looking a little rough on Monday, especially Monday afternoon. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. And I think there's also the possibility. Let's just go back to this and we'll pull some things off here, make it easier to read. So this is our day one. This is for the remainder of the day. Here is tomorrow. And I think we're going to have a couple of rounds. Whoops. Let's transition that. We're going to have a couple of rounds where we've got some of these storms from the overnight moving through and then moving to the north and east. And then it was kind of looking like maybe almost as if some of these storms that are down here that are expected to kind of move this way, I guess, through the overnight hours, that once they're passed, maybe some storms could fire up even on the back side of that. I think some of the newer models are starting to come in, so we'll have to take a look at that. But and then it was looking like later in the day for tomorrow, maybe some storms kind of firing up in through this region. But the main area, the main focus would be whatever develops in through Nebraska and pushes northeastward into the evening and overnight hours. But I'll have to take a look and see what the latest runs show there. And then for Monday, that's the interesting one, I think, even more so. Looks like right now they're expecting a line to almost develop. I think it's going to be interesting. I think this area in through here is going to be very interesting. So that's in my opinion, I think that'll adjust. And then we'll probably have some storms fire up, further to the north as well. But yeah, I think Monday's looking fairly interesting. We'll have to take a look at that shortly. There you can see the latest on where they think the best chance for severe weather would be. Let's see if we can find anything else of interest out there. Hey, let's look at the webcams. Was really struggling with the old computer and the webcams. So let's see if this will work a little better now. Missionaries. No? All right, let's see here. All right, well, this is Witten at Witten on US 18 and mile marker 241. So looking off at the storms down to the south and west, most likely there. Maybe a little lowering on this. But overall, nothing too ominous, at least on that particular one. Hey, at least this is working a little better than the old one. That's always a plus. That's always a plus. You can actually get some video out there and actually take a look to see what's going on. What a concept. What a deal. What a good deal. It makes me happy. It's the little things that can make you happy sometimes. So, as always, if anybody's just got any questions for the Dakotas of Minnesota, if you got a specific question, I always say let me know, especially out throughout the holiday weekend here. Maybe you've got some plans, and we will try to get them answered. Just go ahead and find the little chat in the stream and go ahead and ask away. Oh, that is really behind. So in the meantime, when I'm a little quiet, I'm looking around, I'm just poking around at different things. So I have to excuse me when I do that. But let's see here. Well, let's take a look and see what some of the latest runs are showing now. They're not completely in, but it'll give us a little bit of an idea. So there's our storms here this evening that are continuing to move to the east, and you can see how they kind of want to run just south up here, at least according to this model. Boy, and that one really drives it to the north. That's interesting, the way that carries that one. Here's one a little bit further to our south, kind of entering that southwestern parts of Minnesota. In that area where I was expecting. So we'll see how some of these carry through the night. Yeah, I guess this is a little closer to how I was expecting it to behave. Was some of this stuff just generally moving eastward, and then the stuff further to the north just kind of hanging on, and then bolting a little more north. But either way, areas along the Red River Valley, northwestern parts of Minnesota, looking at some storms rolling through. And then thankfully some good rains back in northwestern parts of Minnesota, or North Dakota. They're always happy to get that stuff. And then these storms expected to continue across southern parts of Minnesota through the early morning hours. That looks like maybe an isolated one could still be severe with those as it rumbles across, especially the southwestern parts of Minnesota. Looks like maybe once it gets a little bit further to east, hopefully by the time it reaches the cities, it'll lose a little more of its punch. Then most of the storms are moved off by the noon hour. And as I said in the earlier discussion on the earlier video, that why did I struggle to come up with the word video? Some additional storms develop into northeastern parts of North Dakota, northern Minnesota later in the day on Sunday. And a few of those up in the north, up in the northern valley, could be severe with hail and damaging winds, maybe an isolated tornado. And then the main one that I was kind of expecting was this area rolling through Nebraska and then eventually rolling into southern parts, southeastern parts of South Dakota, and then quickly moving to the north and east through Minnesota. So, once we're in that, this is about 10, 11 o'clock at night, maybe some strong or large hail, damaging winds. And then once it crosses that 1 a.m. time frame on Monday and gets into Minnesota, I think we're turning more into probably just a wind threat at that time. Nothing considerable, but the possibility of some severe gusts of 60, maybe 70 mile per hour. And then kind of the same thing. The storms moved north and east, and we reset for the day on Monday. And then those storms fire up quick across eastern South Dakota and move into North Dakota. And this is a little bit what I'm concerned about is just a bow echo, I don't know if it'd quite be a derecho, but certainly a bow echo setting up and quickly moving to the north and east and ripping through parts of Minnesota with strong damaging winds. And then as well as the threat of some tornadoes, especially early on, down into central parts of the state. But certainly as it carries on, I mean, it has the potential for seeing the occasional tornado warnings with it. So Monday's still looking very, very active with this latest run here. We'll see what this other model kind of shows, see if it shows about the same thing. Storms move kind of to the north and east, maybe linger a little bit longer in the north on Sunday. And the storms up and through here don't really get going much other than a few. The question mark is going to be up in the Northern Valley later in the day on Sunday for tomorrow as to how much activity there actually will be. But then here's the main threat, again, kind of in that Nebraska and heading to the northeast. That doesn't do anything at all with it. A little susceptible. I'm a little suspect, I should say, of this particular model at this point. But the thing that seems to be consistent is this point on Monday, where these storms develop into eastern parts of South Dakota, west central Minnesota, and then quickly move to the north and east. So one thing a couple of these models are agreeing on is this bow echo setting up right in through here. So we're talking about damaging winds. Yeah, Alex is in the crosshairs again. They will be, yep. I was just talking to a couple friends as far as, storm chasing and such, and I think that west central Minnesota in the next couple of days looking very interesting. So if you got any travel plans on Monday, you've got in between these little storms moving through in the morning on Monday and the storms developing later in the afternoon to get yourselves home and get yourselves to where you need to be. The positive thing, like I said before, I guess trying to look for some positive here, looks like at least the northwestern parts of North Dakota are going to be getting some rain. They need that. And then as this system really begins to spin up, some more showers further back to the west. South Dakota also needs it, so they're happy to get any bit of this rain, especially the stuff that's now rolled through the last couple of nights. But now we are talking about getting rain into areas that don't want it. Specifically, once we get into northeastern South Dakota, probably the eastern third of North Dakota, and then probably the northwestern portion of Minnesota as well. So that's your general look, I guess, right now of what we're thinking as far as the storms go. Well, and it looks like they did drop that severe thunderstorm warning to the north as expected. Yeah, well, thank you, Manx, for always checking in. I appreciate it. I hope you're telling your friends. You said you were going to. I'm gonna hold you to that. Everybody should do that, right? Everybody tell your friends. I'm doing this because what the hell? I like watching this stuff. And if I can help somebody along the way, great. Let's transfer over to the Sioux Falls radar. Yeah, this system's right in between. I don't know, maybe. Just outside. I guess a little bit better here from still from the Rapid City radar. And another report a little bit further south of Olsonville, 54 mile per hour, so not severe. But just right there. Right, it's close. Yeah. Oops. Microphone. You can see how that kind of gusted out here on the south end too. Right about, yeah, right about that time. We were kind of watching that area come up from the south, so that's probably where that came from. Watching that area move quickly to the northeast. So that's probably where that little bit of a gust came from there. And actually is kind of the main area to watch, I suppose, as it heads towards New Mitten and Winter. So I would suspect New Witten and Winter, we're talking 60 mile per hour wind gusts. Yep. Moving to the east, call it northeast at 35. Impacted locations are Mosher, Kiapaha, Witten, and Clearfield. Radar indicated hail size less than 3/4 inch. And wind gust is 60. Yeah, it was a busy weekend. It is a busy weekend, that's for sure. Know anybody who works for Pepsi? I'll sponsor Mountain Dew. Or I should say Mountain Dew can sponsor me. How about that? I'll try to look up so you don't see my bald head. I gotta figure out where to put this camera yet. Well, continuing to sort of watch, I guess, this area right there. I think this is probably our main area of concern as far as the stronger winds go. So coming up to Carter and Whitten, Creek. We may also have this little area down here, just coming up to Clearfield as well. Little bit of maybe some weak rotation in there, which has continued to sort of be the case, I guess, as we've watched this. But overall, I mean, we're just talking about the threat of severe weather down into south central parts of South Dakota right now. And as I said, probably this area is the main concern, running through Carter and Whitten and Mosher, with maybe this little area down and through here that would also need to be watched, where we could be seeing some stronger wind gusts of 60, maybe 70 miles per hour. The line itself is moving east at about 35 miles per hour. But the cells are moving more northeast, so we kind of got to take that into consideration as this overall line continues to move eastward, but the cells themselves have a more northerly component to it. So if there's no other cell that were to continue, I mean, this conceivably this would head up eventually towards Kennebec, maybe just west of Chamberlain. So some decent storms refiring on the back side of the main line. Yeah, a little storm on the backside of this now, heading to the northeast. May have some smaller hail in there, half-inch or so, and maybe some gusty winds heading up towards Dupree and Eagle Butte. Not severe warned at this time. Probably won't be if it's not already. I would think the chances are small. But this area here continues to kind of be the main area we're watching at this point. There you can see those storms kind of fire off a little bit behind this first cell that's moved through. And even the stuff down in the south becoming a little less organized. Just a little less organized out, even that stuff down south. So that's a good thing as far as the severity goes. And then again, just looking further to the north, Nice little curl to this. Good, nice upper level wave rolling to the northeast. Wow, that's pretty impressive. Helping set off all these storms tonight. So more rain up into western parts of the Dakotas. Again, they won't mind heading up to Bismarck. Maybe some showers or some rain, maybe some storms. I know there's quite a bit of camping that goes along. Gosh, from Pierre all the way north through Lake Oahe, and then up in Garrison along Lake Sakakawea. So it looks like any of you campers out there along the Missouri River, we got some rain coming, some thunder coming. Nothing too bad, but probably going to put your campfires out a little early tonight, unfortunately. And then also coming up to Minot, just west of Minot, eventually coming into Minot. Well, it looks like they've now allowed that southern one to expire as well. So all warnings are gone. And we've got just a few minutes left of that severe thunderstorm watch. And I would suspect they'll just let that one go for the night. And likely not reissue anything at this point. Probably have to keep maybe an eye on the southern cell way down here as it kind of moves to the northeast. So that might be the area to sort of focus on in through southeastern South Dakota, southwestern Minnesota late tonight. So this is why we look at the upper level a lot of times. It's just ultimately the driver for the storms. The low level stuff is what helps make it explosive, for what helps makes it, it is part of the reason, along with the upper level, what makes it severe. But the upper levels are the driver. So here we've got the shortwave that's kicking things off for us tonight. And you can see how that little jet max, that little speed max, along with the little dip here in these lines, this shortwave, this trough, quickly moves to the north and east. So that's why some of these areas will kind of rotate northward through the night and into northern parts of Minnesota by tomorrow morning. Then as we get later in the day on Sunday, you can see some of those stronger winds start to nose its way into northern Minnesota again, along with this weak little trough. So that's where maybe later in the afternoon, maybe some storms could redevelop further in the north. But it's really not until this more vigorous system comes in later in the night, and that really is going to kick things off and roll some storms through southeastern parts of South Dakota and portions of Minnesota through the overnight hours. And you can see how those stronger winds just quickly moved to the north, along with these the kinks in the heights, this little trough that moves north. So those storms will likely move north. But then here's the big one. Here's the even deeper trough, along with the stronger winds here in the deeper red. And that pushes into this area by the afternoon on Monday. Quickly pushes those storms, because we got upper level winds over 85 miles per hour. So those storms are going to be moving fast, causing some damaging winds, tornado, as well as some hail. So that ultimately is going to be the driver, the big thing, the big reason why Monday is just looking so interesting. Oh, they really did. They issued out. Okay, well, I stand corrected. I'm surprised in a way. I stand corrected. They did reissue, or they issued a new one. The new severe thunderstorm watch. Until 3 a.m. Central Time, with 1.5-inch hail and 70 mile per hour wind gusts. Moving east at 35 miles per hour, not a particularly dangerous situation, but just some storms that will have to be watched. I think, we've got this sellout here. So I think probably instead of just waiting for this area to get further to the north, now that this one expired at 10, they just said, okay, we're just going to tack on another one to sort of cover this one that will eventually make its way in, and a possibility of this one flaring up, but I think that southern one is probably going to be the main threat. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens, but I think this will be the main go-getter from this point. Well, I do thank everybody for watching here tonight, and as we've just been kind of following these storms along across South Dakota, uh, and some storms here, 50 to 60 mile per hour winds. They did issue out a special weather advisory for the storms that fired up just south of Faith, now southwest of Dupree. Local storm report 9 east of Opal in Meade County. 50 to 60 mile per hour winds and pea-sized hail. That was about a half hour ago. And another one further north, 7 south-southeast of Meadow and Perkins County, a 59 mile per hour wind gusts. Again, about a half hour ago. Nope, not what I wanted. So we're talking reaching, let's see, Faith. No, it already reached Faith. It's past Faith. It's at Faith right now. Eventually coming up to Eagle Butte. So maybe some of these storms will continue to move to the northeast here through the early part of the overnight hours into Mobridge. Take a look at this satellite imagery and lightning overlaid on it, and you can see that these storms further off in the west pretty much being the main source right now, other than taking over that northern area that went through now. So that area is continuing to move to the north and east. I can see some of these lightning from those stronger storms in the southern parts of South Dakota, losing some of its lightning here late. And then we've got the storm in Nebraska that continues to move to the northeast. Okay, I think I'm going to get up and stretch for a little bit, just because there are no severe thunderstorm warnings out. And maybe we'll check back in either as things warrant or at the top of the hour. Well, we're just going to wrap things up here for the night for anybody still maybe watching. Well, we're just going to wrap things up here for the night. And I should probably take care of that so that doesn't do that. Don't need the feedback there. And we still get we're still having one of these storms kind of pop up every once in a while. 51 mile per hour wind gusts, 1 northeast of Winter in Tripp County. So just still a few reports here and there. And overall, we've got this still got this severe thunderstorm watch out through south central parts of South Dakota until 3 a.m. Kind of a combination. You've got this storm riding to the northeast, and also these storms continuing to move east. That could briefly bring an isolated severe report. Probably most of the reports are going to be below severe limits. The way it's, I think, the way it's going to carry out here through the nighttime hours. But I guess just obviously the thunderstorms are going to continue to move eastward across southeastern parts of South Dakota and into southwestern parts of Minnesota through the overnight hours, as well as these areas are expected to move to the north and east through the overnight hours. So pretty much most of the rain is going to sweep through North and South Dakota. By the time it's all said and done, I think at some point most everybody will get a little bit of rain out of this. And then we've got some more storms coming later on. So just real quick, the latest as far as that goes, we're still looking at these storms, like I said, moving to the north and east through the overnight hours. Actually, we're going to flip over to this one and just see what the latest is. And yeah, you can see the kind of a line of storms into southwestern Minnesota moving eastward through the overnight. And again, just an isolated severe still once it gets into southwest Minnesota. But overall, I think the chances will diminish or decrease for the most part as it continues to move eastward overnight. Now, there is a low-level jet that is set up in through here. So at about 5,000 feet, there's some stronger winds that are helping keep these storms down to the south alive through the overnight hours, as well as an upper-level trough that's moving to the northeast. So those storms move off, and then it's looking like maybe, there's a couple runs here now that some storms want to develop into north central parts of Minnesota later in the afternoon. There also is, take a look, maybe a boundary a little bit further back. So there's a possibility at least of maybe some storms firing up. Let's bear with me here as I find what I want. As maybe some storms firing up in this, the northern parts of the Red River Valley later in the afternoon. The main area is going to be this stuff rolling through Nebraska and then eventually into South Dakota and through Minnesota through the overnight hours. Most of that's really, it's coming after 11 p.m. For those in South Dakota and Minnesota. And then those storms are going to move northward, and then the big storms rumble through on Monday through the afternoon hours. They might get going a little bit earlier than they normally do, but I think that northeastern parts of South Dakota, west central Minnesota, that's where they're going to fire off. I think probably where the greatest tornado threat will be, as far as the maybe the intensity goes. And then throughout the afternoon and evening hours, those storms are expected to quickly move to the east and northeast throughout the afternoon and into the evening hours. Still the tornadic threat associated with them as that line continues to move, but it's going to be just an interesting day on Monday. So be sure to tune in, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Share this so people know that they have a place to come to. So those of you in the Northeast, you're looking like you're going to be getting some severe weather through the early part of the evening on Monday evening. And then, I mean, it's looking real interesting. That's for sure. And then after Monday, finally after Monday, you know, Tuesday, just maybe some showers down in the southeast, but overall a quieter day on Tuesday. Cooler day, but as we're taking a look at the temperatures in the 50s generally, and then things kind of begin to rebound by Wednesday. But yeah, it's looking like quite a bit of a cooler day all around on Tuesday. However, for Monday already, western parts of the Dakotas already looking in the mid to upper 50s for highs. And so you can see that difference, the 20-degree difference, and that's what's kicking off some of those storms. There's that line. There's that temperature line. So big stuff, big changes coming here. But otherwise, everything's pretty well quieted off. So I think I am going to sign off here for the night. Thank you everybody for watching. Be sure to tune in tomorrow, and we'll keep you